Thank you very much, and thanks for that beautiful song. I spoke here last year behind Joe, and he said it again, gave me ammunition again this year by talking about get it all together. So as I talk about green jobs and how to get green jobs, we got to remember we're coming out of a period of the exact opposite of green jobs, right? We've had too many jobs involving Iraq, too many jobs involving oil and coal, and too many jobs, frankly, in a financial sector that's melted down our economy and melted down the world economy. Today, this country, to dig out of this recession, folks estimate we're going to be $15 trillion in debt when we're done digging out of this recession. That's $150,000 per American living today, including our children, our neighbors, our grandparents, our cousins, everybody. $150,000 apiece digging out of this recession. It's a financial meltdown that we got to get together. And it mirrors exactly what's going on with the climate, which is we borrowed against the future. We borrowed in the wrong way. We're borrowing from the sky to put our pollution up and to do what we call development. We're borrowing from future generations in terms of the environment that they're going to face, and frankly, in terms of the amount they're going to have to work. We're all going to have to work to pay off that debt. What does that have to do with green jobs? It means that during the Reagan era in the 1980s, they decided to make a living for this country on money instead of on real things. So one of the fundamental things that the rest of the world did, a lot of the rest of the world did, was move to high-tech manufacturing, including Japan, including China increasingly, and certainly the European economy. It's an economy that Michigan would be doing a heck of a lot better under. Not one that was based on floating dollars around and playing shell games with bad credit ratings and bad ideas about how to run money. So that's really critical, because our way out, our way forward as a country has to be out of these shell games with dollars that are based on some illusion that, we know what we're doing when it comes to crazy credit default swaps and other financial instruments, and back to basics about powering people's lives, feeding people in sustainable ways. My key message is really that almost every job today is a green job, because this whole economy has to be reinvented, not just to stop global warming, but to stop poverty, to foster social justice, and to dig ourselves out of this hole that we're in because of the meltdown in the economy. 100 years ago in 1900, people spent $0 on education and about 1 to 2% of their income on transportation. Today, the average middle-income family in the United States spends 50% of their income on transportation and childcare. Right? We spend 25% of our money putting our kids someplace that isn't family, and another 25% of our money driving to some job that's too far away, so that we have to put the kids in childcare, not be with them, not be in our communities. That's a shifting away from that, and that's really what's going to happen over the next 50 to 100 years as we start to solve these problems, is we're going to shift where people are spending their money. We're going to shift it out of oil, because that's what that 50% is about functionally. That 50% is about a way of living that puts us at a distance from our families, at a distance from our communities, and in hoc to the future. And instead, as we shift back to an economy that's more locally based, an economy that's more community based, you're going to see a lot of spending and a lot of dollars shifted out of transportation, long distance transportation, commuting, ill-advised suburbs, back into more local economies, back into more local activity. So when you look around yourself for jobs, again, every job is a green job. All jobs are, because a green job depends on what you make, what it does to the world, and it could be anything from a building to a piece of paper to a car to farming. Everything affects the environment. Everything uses the kind of pollution that we are most concerned about right now, global warming pollution or greenhouse gases, and can minimize that. And that's what my company does. We really try to make sure that help companies that are trying to make a difference in their products make more money. Because functionally, one of the big battles is that share of wallet, taking that money out of the oil companies and the entire dinosaur system that was built on their backs and back into more sustainable ways of living. So a green job involves what you make, involves how you make it, the kind of manufacturing processes, the kind of energy, the kind of waste streams. It involves who you make it with, because green is not just about the environment, it's about justice, it's about living wages for people so that they don't engage, so we all don't engage in unsustainable behaviors to make a living. It's about who you make it with. It's about how it's made. It is made in a job that pays a living wage or is preferably unionized. It's about where you live, because a lot of companies in this economy, their biggest footprint is where they make their workers come from. And there's an emerging economy around companies like, for example, Better World Telecom, that are literally selling services to help people stay close to their community, even if their office is far away, which saves money, it saves time, and saves fossil fuels. A lot of companies' biggest footprint is in the transportation of people to and from that work. So basically, it is about getting it all together. You don't have to look down any. I mean, there are a lot of jobs emerging now that are green, classically labeled. You're young enough. We're all out there getting new educations to deal with this new economy. You can be creative. You can invent the green. 50% of the economy is going to shift to be a green economy. You decide what part you want to be of. You decide what part of it you want to be of. You decide what part of it you want to invent, and help us get it all together. Thank you.